Namaste. Welcome to the beginning of another live stream. I am grateful to be here. It's been a while. I'm sure I'll be answering why many times throughout the live stream, but I've just been busy doing many things. I trust you are feeling as well as you can be, dear viewers. And if you are going through anything difficult at this time, always remember that this too shall pass. And whatever you are feeling, it is a valid expression of what you are experiencing, both inside and out. Our first guests are joining now. Welcome. I hope to be your humble host, and if I'm not, you can hold me accountable to that. Hello. Welcome, dear Hilda. Hello, Adri. I am Princess Mom. Hey, G. Now, I would love to begin with an intention. May I set the intention? If you let me. May the space be a welcoming environment, open to everyone, regardless of background, identity, orientation, belief system, ethnicity, etc. May we come together as fellow students of life to uplift each other, relate in one another's experiences, and share positive sentiments. Hello, dear Nikki. Hello, Deanna from Greenland. Oh, I love Greenland. Thank you, Nikki, for your heart meme. Radhe, Radhe. I'm glad you like the new background, dear I am Princess Mom. I was actually in a forest that looked almost exactly like this today, save for the sunlight. It's a cloudy day today. Thank you, I am Princess Mom, for your heart meme. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hello, dear Marcy. Hello, Tina. And thank you, Tina, for the heart me you sent too. Om Gang Ganapataye Namah. I'd also love to begin with an invocation of a Shanti mantra, a peace prayer taken from the Taittiriya and Katha Upanishad, which goes like this in the ancient language of Sanskrit. Am Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karva Vahai Tejasvinavadhi Tamastu Ma Vidvisha Vahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Divine protect us both together. May the Divine nourish us both together. May we work conjointly with great haste. May our studies be vigorous and effective, and may we not mutually dispute or hate any. May there be peace in us, may there be peace in our environment, and may there be peace in the forces that act on us. Hello, dear Jarrett. Hello, Chloe. And thank you, Marcy, for your heart me as well. Om Kring Kalikaya Namah. So, how are you, everyone? Why don't we take a nice deep breath? That was nice. Thank you, Nikki, for your tiny yippee and your rose arm. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namah. And thank you, dear John, for your corgi. Nice to have you here too. How are you? Hare Krishna. Hello, dear George. Let me tell you what's on the agenda for today's live stream. Today, we shall continue reading from the Radiant Sūtras. This is a modern interpretation translation and commentary of the ancient Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. It includes 112 yuktis, or gateways, to the yoga of wonder and delight. We are continuing from the 40th yukti. Today we'll read a couple. If you remember, this is a conversation between the divine masculine and the divine feminine, Shiva and Shakti, Bhairava and Bhairavi, talking about everyday kind of places, ordinary sensations to meditate on that give you ultimate bliss. Simple things, from meditating on your breath to more cosmic things like imagining yourself being consumed by fire, or that your spine is the Milky Way. I look forward to continuing that. Happy to hear that you're doing well, dear John. Oh, thank you, dear Michelle, for asking. We have been eating well. Yes, yeah, we've been eating a lot of mung beans. Probably will be eating more today. Thank you, dear Kali, for your heart me. Om Kamalir Mahakalikaya Namah. I am feeling like I'm thriving today. I frolicked through a field, dear Freya, and swung on some swings, played in a forest. It was good. What about you? You think you want headphones for this one, dear Marcy? Oh, well, I hope I got the audio settings right. This is, by the way, the first live stream on a new computer. Many of you know that my computer wasn't working and it was crashing in many of the last live streams. And so I think I finally deduced what was wrong. It was graphics cards, but also maybe the power supply not being able to correctly supply power to the graphics cards. Everything was old. It was a good PC built by my grandfather. He called it Turtle. And I just casually mentioned, I've never done this before, but I expressed openness for assistance from the Sangha. Never expected nor necessary, but I was blown away. Maybe I could get enough to buy a new power supply, but we actually got enough to pay for more than half of a new computer. So I went into my savings and I asked my mom to help as well, and we got a brand new computer. So hopefully our live streams will be good without any crashes or hiccups or anything. We'll see. I think it'll be a better experience. So I try to set up everything again, like the audio and the video. I put a new background for the video. This lovely forest, which reminds me of the forests out here. Anyway, huge thanks to everyone that helped contribute something to this computer. I mean, I never expected anything. I can't even comprehend how generous you all are. I will be doing something for all of you, a small thing, but, the least I could do. I'll tell you more about what that is when I do it. Thank you, Inevitable, for the rose that you sent as well. Om Bhurmbhuvaswa Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. You are frolicking tomorrow. I'm happy to hear that, dear Freya. You walked 12 kilometers today, dear Michelle. Wow, that's a lot. I think I got 11,000 steps today. That's probably not quite 12 kilometers, but up there too. Thank you, John, for the hat and mustache as well. Om Shri Mahalakshmiyai Namaha. Turtle 2.0, that's right. Also known as Akupara. It's the Sanskrit name for the world turtle. The turtle that's all the way down, holding the world up. Thank you, potato soup. I've got some neem oil in my hair today. Welcome, dear Kalki Ji. You got a new computer too. Spring cleaning, I guess, in some way. Ram Ram. Thank you for the floating octopus too, dear John. Om Bhat Hanumate Namaha. You did 18,595 steps, shares Michelle. That's a lot of steps. Yeah, and I think I read in chat before I went live that you're in bed already, which is good. You need to rest those legs, for sure. Get your electrolytes as well. And you did 17,000 today, dear Freya. My goodness. And it hasn't been that long since you broke your ankle, so it must be healing. Well done. Oh, I see, dear Kalkiji. Thank you. Hello, dearest Ansuela Priya. Oh, my flip. Hello. Nice to have you here, too. How are you? Now, wet my whistle before I chant some of these Sanskrit verses in our book that we're reading. I'm drinking ginger and lemon tea, because I know someone's going to ask. Your ankle is behaving, shares Freya. Just lots of bumbling at work. I mean, it must be behaving if you have 17,000 steps. Oh yeah, also on the agenda today, after we do our reading, we'll do some Q&A. As always, we'll have a question of the day about what you've learned about yourself in the past 2 weeks. So maybe you can start thinking about that if you want. And then we'll end with a mantra meditation. Today's mantra meditation is dedicated to Yama, which coincidentally shares the same root as my name. Yam, meaning to restrain. It's the name for the god of death, which sounds bad, but it's actually a good thing, because death isn't a negative thing in this philosophy. It's part of life. It's a mantra said to help you conquer death, which I guess means help you conquer your fear of death, or conquer your fear of endless cycles of identification and losing that identity. So that'll be nice. Yamaraja. Sounds like you're drinking well, dear Kalkiji. I'm happy that you're doing well, dear Stansuela Priya. I have been very busy, dear Sarah. Friends and family and plants and getting a new computer. Yeah, let's hope we don't go to Yamaloka, dear Woo Woo. And hello, dear Hybrid Gem. Okay, I think I set everything up to be able to have the book cover too. Yeah, and look at that, it's behind me. Fancy. So let's read, shall we? We are continuing from the 40th Yukti, one of the 112 gateways to the Yoga of Wonder and Delight. I will read the 63rd verse overall in the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra in Sanskrit, and then we'll read the English poetic interpretation, and then we'll pick out one of the Sanskrit words and use that as a seed to determine the practice that this verse points to. Alright. Goes like this. Aum sarvam deham chinmayam hi jagadva paribhavayet yogapan nirvikalpena manasa paramodaya. This is Bhairava, the divine masculine, speaking to his beloved. He says, my love, delight in this entire universe as permeated with divine awareness. And every area of your body, your feet, your face, your shoulders, made out of divine awareness. The body of the planet beneath you, out beyond the farthest horizons, the stars and the reaches of space, all are rising from God consciousness. Know this and dissolve into peace. I think one of the most beautiful things arising from Eastern philosophy is the idea that the source is pure awareness. And so we, being creatures aware. We are a part of that awareness. But not only that, because everything that we experience comes to us through our awareness, that in some sense you could say that everything you get to experience in life is just awareness. It's all pure divine awareness. So let's dive deeper into that. The word of the verse is deha. It means the body, from the root dih, meaning to plaster, mold, or fashion. Very symbolic. It can mean form, shape, mass, the bulk as of a cloud, a person, an individual, appearance, manifestation, or having the appearance of. So the practice, meditate simultaneously on the universe and your body, deha, as being pure consciousness. Deha suggests appearance. We look as if we are solid and made out of matter, yet we know from science that matter is made of energy and is almost entirely space. Somehow our bodies are fashioned out of energy and space. So in this meditation, you accept something deeper, that the matter of your body and the entire universe are made not just of energy and space, but on a deeper level of pure consciousness. When you dive into this meditation, you are not just a generic person taking a snapshot of generic space. Each camera and each lens takes a somewhat different picture. Each photographer has a different eye. Each of the bus-sized telescopes orbiting the Earth reveals a different aspect of the immense cosmos we inhabit. You have a somewhat different set of life experiences than anyone else that has ever lived. And when you meditate upon your body and the whole universe as being made of consciousness, there will be nuances you perceive that may not have been known before. Even if your form is only as lasting as a cloud, well, so too a galaxy, just a cloud of stars. That is one word from the 40th verse. Let's keep reading, shall we? Let's read the 42nd verse now. We'll read up to the 42nd yukti. We're going to read the 41st yukti, which is the 64th verse overall. Vayudvayasya sanghata dandharva bahirantata yogi samatva vijnana samudgamana bhajanam. That was like the part in the movie where a character says the title of the movie. We had the word Vijnana in there. Name of the scripture, Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. That verse translates to, breathing is the flow of the divine, where the rhythms of life turn into each other, the eternal exchange. Pour one breath into the other, out breath into the in-breath, in-breath into the out-breath. Awaken to equanimity, at peace in the play of opposites. The word of the verse is Vayu. Vayu means wind, air, as one of the 5 elements: breathing, breath, a mystical name of the letter Ya. What does that mean? Well, all of the letters in Sanskrit have associations with different forms of the divine. The letter Ya is associated with the deity of wind, Vayu. And that's at the center of the heart chakra mantra. You might know it as Yam. It has the letter Ya in there. And the heart chakra, like all of the other 5 first chakras, are associated with each of the 5 elements. And the heart is air. In medicine, Vayu is the windy humor. In yoga, it refers to prana, apana, samana, udana, vyana. These are various life breaths that go through the body. In astronomy, Vayu is also the name of the 4th muhurta, which is a moment, 48 minutes, the 30th part of a day. As I said, it's the name of the wind god, said to have sprung from the breath of Purusha. He is said to move in a shining car drawn by a pair of red or purple horses, or by several teams consisting of 99 or 100 or even 1,000 horses. He is often made to occupy the same chariot with Indra, the god that represents the illumined mind of the heavens and that brings the rain and the winds. And in conjunction with him, honored with the first draught of the Soma libation. Soma is the elixir of the gods, said to have been drunk in ceremony during rituals in the ancient Vedic religion. But it's also a metaphor for, comes from the root su, meaning to press out. Soma is the juice that comes from squeezing, and it's kind of a symbolism of, squeezing yourself into the form that you want to be, in the sense of the version in your heart through refinement and discipline. Vayu is really connected with maruts, which are also forms of lightning and thunder, also forms of weather gods, although he is said to have begotten them from the rivers of heaven. Vayu also can mean desirous, covetous, greedy, desirable, or desired by the appetite. So that's a whole lot of meaning just in that word, Vayu. So what's the practice here? It is impossible to be appreciative enough of breathing. In the definitions above, each word and image points to something exciting and magical. 1,000 red or purple horses pulling a shining car. What an image for the dynamic power of breath and the blood vessels that meet the air as we breathe in. The greatest skill you could bring to breathing is being in awe and wonder. Sometime you might want to take a year and track all the metaphors associated with Vayu. Make your own imagery so that when you think or say the word, you perceive a rich mandala of meaning. Vayu also means desired by the appetite, and this meaning points to life itself as driving our practice. Life's hunger for prana, for air, is what gives power to this practice. That's a powerful one. I really like that one. Okay, we're going to read just one more. This is the 42nd verse. I keep mixing up the yuktis and the verses. The yuktis are a subset of the verses. There's 112 yuktis, but more than 112 verses, because there's some banter verses between the divine masculine and feminine before and after. So it's the 42nd yukti, the last one we'll read today, but the 65th verse overall in the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. And You know what they say? What's the answer to life, the universe, and everything? 42. So let's see what this yukti has to offer. Sarvam jagat svadeham vasvananda bharitam smaret yugapat svamrte naiva parananda mayo bhavet. With one sweep of attention, gather in the whole universe and remember it as your body of bliss. The deep rhythms of life pulsating. Stir an ambrosia, flowing and overflowing everywhere. Drink the nectar of all-pervading joy from the radiant cup that is this very body. And the word of the verse is Ananda. A-A-N-A-N-D-A. Ananda. What does it mean? Happiness, joy, enjoyment, bliss, sensual pleasure, the thing wished for. It can also mean the end of the drama in a play. The practice? There is a universe of practices encoded in the 32 syllables of this sutra. Notice that Ananda is used twice to emphasize that sensual pleasure and happiness are essential. Here are a couple mantras you can play with as a way in. Swananda bharitam. I am nourished and filled with the bliss of my soul. Swamritam. I am suffused with the nectar essence of life. The verse also uses the word amrita, A-M-R-T-A, which means not dead, amrita. It's actually where we get the word immortal, amrita, from the root mr, meaning to die. Mrta is the past participle of the verb having died, and negates it, amrita, not having died. Immortal, imperishable, but it can also mean beautiful, beloved, and immortal, a god. It's one of the names of Shiva too, or the plant Phaseolus trilobus. I'm sure I can pronounce that Latin better. It can refer to the nectar conferring immortality produced at the churning of the ocean, which is an ancient story. Ambrosia. We also get the word ambrosia from this word, which is very interesting. A nectar-like food, an antidote against poison, a medicament. I'm sure I'm not putting the emphasis on the right syllables. In general, the residue of a sacrifice. It can mean anything sweet, a pear, a ray of light. It's also the name of a poetic meter. You could begin meditating with the amrita that permeates your body, swa amrita. And as you shift levels, you accept that the entire universe is filled with your joy and your essence. Or you could meditate on the cosmos and your body simultaneously as being filled with your ananda, your happiness, your joy, and amrita. Bliss is a necessary foundation for yoga practice. And dare I add to that, it's a necessary foundation of being alive. Without bliss, what can we do in life? Without it, the electricity of the life force can grate on your nerves. Bliss is nourishing, and it suffuses, lubricates, and coats the nerves with the deep pleasure of existence. When you find bliss, notice and welcome it. Do not let any voices tell you that feeling pure joy is not a serious meditation practice. Bask in pleasure, shamelessly. Amrita is also an antidote against poison, a medicine. If you have ever gotten involved in service, working in the harsh, broken places in the world, you may need to get away and bathe in your own ananda and amrita for sustained periods to counteract any poison you may have been exposed to. Amrita and ananda nourish and heal every cell of the body and sustain the heart as we live in this world. That's the word ananda. And that's the final of the 3 suktas that we're going to read today. So thank you very much for listening. If that brought out any reflections that you want to share, you are always welcome to. I look forward to continuing this reading with you next time. That concludes our listening portion of our Sangha. I am grateful to have been able to listen with you. Hello, dear Shelly Belly. Welcome everyone that joined while we were reading too. And thank you to those who sent a gift whilst we were reading. Quite a few of you. So thank you to everyone for your patience. I just take a minute to extend my appreciation back to all of those. Thank you, Tattvamasi, for your quintet of roses. Om Namah Shivaya. Hybrid Jen, thank you for the love you so much. And the you're awesome. Is that a little cat? That's very cute. And the 6 TGIFs. And a heart ray. Oh, thank you. It was raining here today, which was very nice. Om Brahm Bharavaya Namo Namah. Thank you, dear Kalki Ji, for your heart me and trio of roses. Om Kali Mahakali Kalike Parameshwari Sarvananda Kare Devi Narayani Namostute. Thank you, Anasek, for your heart me as well. Om Dum Durgaya Namaha. Thank you, Neon Jello Pack, for your heart me, your hand hearts, your finger heart, and your pair of roses. Om Namah Karlim Ambita Me Shrim Nadita Me Harim Devita Me Aim Saraswatiyai Swaha. Thank you for the heart me as well, dear Tattvamasi. Jai Satchitananda. Thank you, Lone Wolf, for your heart me too. And the you're awesome as well. And the quintet of Tiny Tinies. Yahoo! Hello, dear Michael. What's the mood today? I don't know. How are you feeling? Today I'm feeling excited to be back live streaming today. I'm feeling very grateful. Yeah, very anticipatory. Yeah. Hello, dear Lieb. Did the mantra sound like Indian rap music? I wonder if you could make an argument for the origin of rap music coming from mantra. It certainly comes from poetic speaking, chanting. I wonder if it's a hallmark of the African traditions that may have been preserved but given a new life in the slave trade, because it often is associated with the African American culture. coming from their musical past, their musical heritage. I wonder, I'd love to know the history of rap music. I love that, Lieb. You'll speed it up and repeat it and make some Indian rap. I'd love to hear that. Thank you, dear Tattvamasi, for your rose. In addition, Om Namah Shakti Shivaya. Is G with me? Asks Adri. I don't know where she is. She's somewhere, probably in the house. Too shy to come on the live streams, but that's okay. I mean, it's a big thing to come up here in front of 77 people, and I certainly won't expect her to. She was in the audience earlier, which is funny. Hello, dear Zane. If I had to be an inanimate object, what would I be? You know, I used to think about that a lot. That's a funny question. When I would go for car rides, you know how we used to play car ride games? Like, not just like with the people in the car, but when you're looking out the window, you'd like run on top of the buildings with your fingers. Or when it's rainy, you'd race the two water droplets dripping down the window. See which touches the seam first. One of the car ride games I would play it's a really weird one. Because I'm a really weird child, I guess. I still am. I would imagine what it would be like to be the people that I'm driving past. That's not that weird. Like, you know, you see someone walking by, maybe they're listening to music, you wonder like, what is it like to be in that person's head right now? What are they thinking about? What's their life? But then when there wasn't any people around to imagine, I'd start picking inanimate objects. Like, what would it be like to be that stop sign? You know, what does it feel like to just be this octagon made of steel at this four-way stop? Yeah, so maybe I'd be a stop sign. What about you? Hello, dear Innesota. You thought I had blocked you. Oh, I'm so sorry you felt that way. I was just busy the last few weeks. I haven't been live, so no. Thankfully so. And I do have a YouTube channel where I put all these live streams. So if you don't see me uploading there, then I'm definitely not live. And if for ever reason in some alternate timeline that I did block you, there is an unblock request form, because I never feel good about doing that, and I always want to give people another chance. So there's a little form to fill out if ever you are blocked. It's in the link tree in my bio, but I can't imagine you'd ever have to fill that out. Dear Mayri, welcome. The inanimate object that you'd be is a window. I like that. Yeah. Miananda, welcome. You share peaches are in season. You think you're becoming a fruitarian. I love that. Yeah, there's a name for that. I think it's called a frugivore. Frugivore. I might be mispronouncing that. I could go for a peach right now too. Dear Tattvamasi, you ask, if I were a stop sign, would I feel bad to stop someone who's in a hurry? No, because it's not the stop sign that stops people. It's their agreement that this is something that I should stop to for the safety of everyone. So if they stop, it's their own agreement to that. I deeply respect that. I'm just the representative of that if I'm a stop sign. Or a reminder. Yeah. But people who are really in a hurry, they'll just blow through it anyway. Don't do that. Unless like someone's bleeding out and you have 5 seconds to get to the hospital or else. But even then, you might not want to get into an accident and make it worse. I will not be held accountable for any rolling stops. Thank you, dear Innesota, for your rose and heart me. Mitraya Namaha. You would be a bridge, shares Miyananda. That's beautiful. Connecting places, connecting people. It was nice to be back, dear Minnesota. How are you? Hello, dear Raven. You are holding a moment of reverence for the grace of this most blessed reunion. I was only gone 2 weeks. Not even. But it feels like forever. It does, actually. It feels like more than that. Thank you, dear Julia, for your rose. Ravaye Namaha. You just assembled a floor lamp. That is so cool, shares Jackie. Is it cool enough to be a show and tell submission? Because if so, you're welcome to share. Well done. You'd be a monocle, shares Marcy, or a stopwatch on a chain. How fancy. Yes. Yes, very, very upper class of you. I've heard of him, dear Lieb. Yes. Nityananda. He's a very controversial figure. I think he started his own nation. Started his own country, which is a very eccentric thing to do, and is on the run from the Indian government for probably things that I shouldn't talk about without getting flagged. I don't know much about him other than those things. I wouldn't want to judge him, however. Maybe truly he is innocent and it's just all a misunderstanding, and he does genuinely want to start a kind of modern spiritual paradise. And that's a beautiful intention, but naturally we have to be cautious of such red flags. I am sure that he gives wonderful advice on many things, however. Not everyone is going to be all good or all bad. Everyone is a mixed bag, like trail mix. Sometimes you like the almonds, sometimes you like the M&Ms. I'm sure Nityananda has some M&Ms. Mm-hmm. He spoke so much truth but then let himself down. I think that's a very profound way of putting it. Well said. Mm-hmm. Look at Akuparago, no lag, right, Audrey? The computer is running very well, and I think I'm even running on 60 FPS. I don't know if it's actually being delivered to your screen at 60 FPS, but it's quite incredible. And thank you, dear Jackie, for the manifesting that you sent. Narayanaya vidmahe vasudevaya dhimahi tanno Vishnu prachodayat. Dear Ishta, you would love to hear about what my view is on transgenderism. Well, I don't really have any profound thought other than, if I would happily be friends with someone who is, makes absolutely no difference. I'd happily work with someone who is trans. If it happened to be, I wouldn't mind if my partner was. I think there's a spiritual lesson hidden in there. If someone can recognize that they're more than their body, that their body doesn't define them, that's a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. I'm very blessed to be happy with the body that I have been given, and I know that not everyone has that privilege. And your body is absolutely your choice, what to do with it. And gender is such a nuanced thing. I mean, you'd think it'd be something so simple, like just what chromosome you have. Is it an XY or an XX? But some people are born with an XXY, some people are born with XXX, some people are born with XYY, and there's all sorts of other biomarkers like hormone levels, and even like your immune system. All sorts of things that I'm sure a proper biologist could tell you that it is a complicated thing. The shape that your bones are in. Yeah. So I like to say that the masculine and the feminine exist within all of us, and it's totally our choice what part we wish to connect with at any moment. And thank you, dear Dove Darker, for your heart mate and popular vote. Tatpurushaya vidmahe. Sorry. Something's in my throat. Still in my throat. Okay, one sec. Tatpurushaya vidmahe mahadevaya dhimahi tanno rudra prachodayat. Thank you, dear Delia, for your rose. Radhe Radhe. Do you really think that, dear Isha? Why do you think that? On what basis do you think that is true? No, I appreciate that, dear Lieb. Oh, welcome, dear Delia. Is that how I pronounce your name? You can tell me if I can pronounce it better. Dear Julia, you ask, what do I think about yin yoga? I don't know much about yin yoga, actually. No, you'll have to teach me. What does yin yoga include? Hello, dear blood. Can we get a fit check? I did a few fit checks. I don't think I can keep doing fit checks every live stream, unfortunately. I do apologize. I know you might be very interested in what I'm wearing, but it's really not that interesting. I should hope that the things we talk about are more interesting than the yoga pants and the hoodie. What are you wearing? No, don't tell me. I don't need to know. You are good, dear Anasoda. I am happy to hear that. Do I practice grounding? And if so, do I feel the effect instantly? Sometimes. Depends how ungrounded I am. If I'm really ungrounded, it may take a while of, being out in nature, or deep breathing, or just lying flat on the ground to feel more grounded. It can definitely take time if you're in the middle of an anxiety attack, for example, which I certainly know what that's like. But other times, you just get that relief instantly, you just need it. You walk into a forest and it's like immediately you get that breath of fresh air. But it's okay if it takes some time. You want to forest bathe, shares Jackie. You think that's the name for it. Well, if it's not, we should create that name. Forest bathing sounds wonderful. I love that. Hello, dear Shriya Hasya Chitrakara. You think you only noticed that we have the same blanket because the background isn't space now? Oh. Yeah, mine isn't a blanket, but maybe yours is printed on a blanket. This was a tapestry, but I'm using it as a whatever you call it, that which drapes over a couch, a throw, I think they call it, because you have to throw it on your couch, I guess. Well, that's wonderful. Every time that you snuggle up under the blanket. Oh, imagine if you snuggled up on this couch, then you'd be blending in with the back. That'd be pretty perfect with that blanket. But you can dissolve into the cosmos. Thank you, dear Usha Priyaji, for your hand hearts. Suryaya Namah. Thank you, dear Delia, for the finger heart that you sent. Bhanave Namah. Dear Anasoda, thank you for your shell. Khagaya Namah. And Usha Priyaji, thank you for another septet of roses. Pushni Namah. Dear Amanda, you asked, do I practice witchcraft? I'm sure there are many practices that I do that are cross-cultural, that you'll find many different cultures and traditions simultaneously take up. I wouldn't know of any in particular, although I did find a beautiful wand in the forest today. I gave it back to the forest, but it was nice. It had a little white tip because the bark came off, and it looked like a stage magician's wand, you know, like the black shaft and the white tip, and then like a flower comes out, the one that, you know, you tap the hat and then a rabbit comes, like a stereotypical looking magic wand, but it was made of a twig, a nice thick twig, and it had moss and fungi on it. It was like a blend of both worlds. Dear Stansuela Priya, you asked, will I be doing live streams outdoor again? I am outdoor. See? This is my backyard. No, you don't believe me? I was able to live stream outside because I had my laptop. And I switched from my laptop to my computer because my laptop broke. And then I got a new computer because my computer broke. And so I don't have the funds right now to repair my laptop or get a new one. But hypothetically, if I had one, I would be able to stream outside again. I could always stream on my phone, but for the setup of these sanghas, I'm not able to. Dear Lieb, you ask, why do you have anxiety when you are so young? I would say, why wouldn't you? Especially in the modern world. I mean, there is so much uncertainty. There was always uncertainty in life. But with the younger generations, you get to see how the world seems to collapse all around you in different places of the globe. That at any time there's a war going on, or there's some conflict, or there's some humanitarian crisis. This has been the case since the dawn of humanity, but now our generation is scrolling, and you might wake up in the morning to an atrocity on your feed. I mean, my goodness, that does something. Back in the day, like 20, 30 years ago, all of those things still happened, but you know, it would be in the newspaper. And how many kids back in the day were really reading the newspaper? I mean, maybe the comic section, or maybe the, you know, Sudoku section. But I think that and many other things have an effect on anxiety. Health, you know. If you're not getting your vitamins, that can really affect your anxiety levels. And many children, even in the first world, are lacking a lot of essential vitamins like magnesium, which can have an effect on that. And there's all other ways that technology creates a very nervous, anxious mind, anticipation of social media posts and whatnot. So yeah, why wouldn't you have anxiety if you're young? But I see your point. You've got your whole life ahead of you. If you're young, you've got your health. That can be helpful to reflect on. Thank you, dear Denise, for your heart me. Hiranyagarbhaya Namah. Thank you, dear Om Tat Sat, for the rose you sent. Marichaye Namah. Dear Mats, thank you for the heart me too. Adityaya Namah. I'm grateful to have you too, dear Michelle. Yes, Michelle is very real. Hello, dear Lessa. Dear Innesoda, you ask, what's my preferred food? Well, I'm not a picky eater. I used to be. When I was younger, my mom could only get me to eat like one thing, and that was... I can't remember the order, but it was like ice cream. Like literally, like I would not put food in my mouth unless it was ice cream. And she was terrified that I'd become malnourished and have all sorts of problems. Eventually, she discovered that I also liked French fries. And so she'd be putting the French fries in the ice cream just to get something in me. So I wasn't starving. Finally, there was a healthy food that I liked. It was plums. I could eat plums. And then slowly my palate grew and grew. And eventually I started to love to try new foods. And whenever I went to a restaurant, I'd always try to order something that I never got before. Yeah. Nowadays, my diet is a little more restricted because I've been more focused on my health and my spiritual practice. But I love a good veggie burger. If I had a go-to meal, it's definitely a nice veggie burger. Those are all very good vitamins for anxiety, dear Anizek. Yes, magnesium, D3, B vitamins. I was lacking B12 and I didn't even know it, which makes sense because B12 is one of the only vitamins not produced, as far as we know, by any plant. So if you're a vegetarian or vegan, you really have to make sure that you get your vitamin B12 in some clever way. My doctor ran a blood test and discovered I was low on B12. And B12 is like so important. I don't think people realize vitamins aren't just like a bonus. That if you don't have them, you're fine. Or you do have them and it's like a plus. No, vitamin B12, if you don't have it, your DNA doesn't replicate. It's part of the chain of enzymes that decode your DNA and copy them so that your cells divide and make new copies. If you don't have that, your body shuts down. So you definitely need that. Fun fact is that vitamin B12 is produced by bacteria. And that's why it's found in animal food, in meat, or animal products, because it's produced in the guts, the microbiome, including us. We actually have vitamin B12 producing thing, but they're so far in the digestive tract, past the point of absorption, that we can't get it unless you do some crazy, unscientifically proven yogic technique that's able to absorb the B12. But yeah, I'd recommend supplements. There's also some plants that have the bacteria on the surface that produce vitamin B12 in some amounts. How about a falafel sandwich? That sounds delicious, dear Rick. Oh my goodness. I would love to eat that right now. I'm a falafel fan. Marcy, you share, man's just cured the blue butterfly conundrum with knowledge. What's the blue butterfly conundrum? I had no idea. I have never heard of that. I have heard of the butterfly effect. The blue butterfly conundrum is a variation of the butterfly effect, but the butterfly is blue. Will the butterfly that has blue wings, when it flaps them, create a slightly bluish tinted storm on the other side of the world? Or not? Just kidding. Thank you, dear Anazak, for your 36 roses. Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushte vardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityor mukshiyamamritant. Is that how rabbits get their B12? Just munching on the bacteria of of plants, dear Ben. I saw the cute bunny today in my backyard, a baby bunny. So small, like this big. Even its big ears were only like this big. Yeah, I do get the sublingual B12 tablets as recommended by my doctor. Everyone's bodies are different. That sounds delicious, dear Lee. Wild mushroom and sweet pepper done on coal. Yeah, proper fire roasted food. Dear Delia, you ask, which is the strongest archetype of my personality? That's a very interesting question. I don't know if I'd be able to answer myself. I'd probably have to ask the people around me. What about you? And hello, dear Zella Love, from Dublin, Ireland. It must be very early in the morning for you. In fact, you might say top of the morning to you. Dear Amanda, you're wondering how many languages I speak. I just actually only speak English, but I do have a bit of a love for world languages, especially ancient ones like Sanskrit. What about you? And thank you, dear Jason, for the heart me you sent. Savitri Namah. Miananda, you share that your cat Luna was once after a baby bunny, like that in your backyard, but the bunny fought back and scared her. I love that. Cats are such scaredy cats. I'm pretty sure I once saw my cat saying he tried to chase a lizard one time, and the lizard went like, like jumped forward. Sandy was like, woo! And the lizard was like this big. Good night, dear Michelle. It's very late for you. Dear Maroi, Marjorie. I still have to figure out, is it like a Spanish or like ya or ja, Marjorie. If I just kind of make an amalgamation of all of them at the same time. Marjorie. Anyway, you ask, do I know my numerology life path number? I think you can calculate it. How you calculate it is you add all the digits in the day, the month, and the year that you were born, and you keep doing that until it's single digit. So mine's very simple. I was born on the 1st of October, 1/10/2001. So 1 plus 10 is, 1 plus the 1 in the 10 is 2, and then 2 plus the 2 in 2001 is 4, and then 4 plus the 1 in 2001 is 5. So my life path number is 5, if I did my arithmetic correctly. But what if we went by a different system? Would your life path number change its meaning? Because we go by the Gregorian calendar, where it's the year 2025, which was adopted from the Julian calendar. But there are different calendar systems around the world. You'd end up with a different life path number if you went by a different calendar. Dear Amanda, you share you study ancient sorcery. I love that. So you learned ancient Egyptian, and you speak Swedish, English, and Russian. Wow. 3 Indo-European languages, 2 Germanic languages, and a Semitic language, if I'm not mistaken. Is Egyptian a Semitic language? I would love to learn ancient Egyptian. I haven't been very regular in my live streams lately, dear Andy. I've been busy, but I hope to do so more in the future. Dear Dancing Aurora Borealis, you share it's 55 minutes till your birthday over there, the 17th. You're telling me that I returned to live streaming today to be able to be here for the turning of your next birthday? What an honor. Thank you for including me in that. I love that. We'll have to keep an eye out for the next hour change. Your cat is evil, dear Lieb. Of course, all cats are evil. But it's like yin-yang. They've got the good in them. Their evilness is just their personality. On the inside, they're full of love. Hello, dear Stevie G. Hello, dear Mayna. Dear Anazak, did I know that there's a war in India? I'm not aware of any particular conflict. I'm not one to usually check up on the news, but you all inform me on what I need to know. What do I need to know? There's always some conflict going on in India. I mean, there's so many different aspects of this tapestry of cultures trying to get along, especially on the borders with Bangladesh and Pakistan and Sri Lanka. But there's so many cultures inside India as well. No, you disagree that not all cats are evil, dear Lieb. But yours is. You think. I love the divinity of cats, dear Rachel. I love that. That's why the ancient Egyptians worshipped them, right? Thank you, dear Rhiannon Clark, for your heart meme. Arkaya Namaha. Oh no, shares Jackie. You found an extra piece for the lamp. That's hilarious. Where does it go? Or maybe it's just an extra in case you lost a piece, if it's small. You would say my main archetype is the sage, Heridalia. That's very kind of you. Sage is a very wonderful archetype. I'm glad you said that rather than I don't know, like supervillain. Hello, dear Pema. I'm from Vancouver Island, but we're all ultimately from the same earth, and I'm grateful for that. Where are you from on this same earth? Your power's out, dear Stevie G. Well, if you want to conserve your battery, please feel free to do that. But Mother Nature wanted to have fun today. She does. She wants to get us outside. She wants to get us to be off our devices. Thank you, dear Dancing Aurora Borealis, for your quintet of tiny bunny. Hello, dear Nia. Your cat is the sweetest, dear Ben. Kind, social, fearless. Looks a bit like a little lynx. Oh, I think I can imagine that. I'm a cat fan. You're going on a walk with your sister because of that. Wonderful, dear Stevie G. You laugh at the idea of me being a supervillain, dear I am Princess Mom. I've had my phases in life. Yeah. I do have very powerful lasers that could cut a tree in half, probably. I have this, I think it's like a 200 watt CO2 laser, and to put that into perspective, a cat laser pointer, which is already like damaging to the retina, is like 0.1 milliwatts. So 10,000th of a watt is a cat laser pointer. And so that laser that I just mentioned is like 500,000 times more powerful, 500,000 times more powerful. Sheesh. And the scariest part is that it's invisible. It's an infrared laser. So if I really were a supervillain, you could be happily walking in a park one day and suddenly the tree next to you starts falling over. And then I block your path because I say, no, you can't go any farther. But no, I love trees. I wouldn't want to hurt a tree. You're from Nepal, shares Bema. Oh. We've got a couple Nepalese people here. I would love to visit Nepal one day. Hello, dear Beck. I am feeling resplendent today. How are you feeling? And thank you, I am Princess Mom, for the finger heart that you sent. Bhaskaraya Namaha. Take care, dear Stevie G. Hello to your sister. It's hard to breathe in Nepal, shares Lieb. From the elevation, you mean? Because it's near the roof of the world. I see that you greeted fellow Nepalese. Sati. You'll have to teach me what that means. Sati. I'd love to know. Sati is friend. Oh, I think you told me that before. Yes. Now I remember. Sati. Hello, dear Crystal. I am back. You found me. You've been good today, dear Beck, but it's been a rough week. And you got so much to be grateful for. I'm happy to hear that. I hear some meows. Let me bring something to cheer you up even more. There's a shadow. Very, very mystical cat this one is. Thank you for saying hi to everyone, Shadow. Yeah, this one's not evil. A nice cameo. Viva Shadow! Yay! Although sometimes he can discipline his brother. When his brother is acting up, Sandy, when Sandy does something he's not supposed to, Shadow will smack him. Which is funny. And it's like, you're gonna get us both in trouble. Stop that. Hilaraya, welcome. You share that your cat just had kittens too. Calicos. That's so precious. How many kittens do you have? Thank you, Delia, for the rose you sent. Sum Suryaya Nama. And Innasoda, thank you for the shell and rose. Did I thank you for these? I'm going to thank you twice just because the gift's so nice. Sum Sumaya Nama. Radhe Radhe, dear Kauri. What's my favorite crystal? Mariori. I'm not sure if I have a favorite crystal. I'm not as smart as some of you when it comes to all the different kinds. I'm not sure if I'd even be able to identify the kinds that I have. I don't have many. I really enjoy obsidian. And I think it's technically not a crystal because it's actually a glass. Like the structure of obsidian isn't crystalline in the sense of a lattice, but I love obsidian. You can make another portal out of that. You like citrine, shares Isabella. Is that the one that looks like orange? Like a citrus fruit. You just want to eat it. Hello, dear Bane. Back in black. Welcome, dear Room. Just had one kitty, shares Hilaraya. That's it. Not too long ago, but got pregnant right after having that one. Wow. Bless her. That is a mama at work bringing life into this world. How long is a cat's pregnancy? I realized I don't know. Hilarai, like sunstone. Oh, that sounds beautiful. Citrine is more yellowish, shares Mariori. Speaking of Crystal, Crystal asks, how have I been? I've been well, thank you. She is a promiscuous one, shares Hilaraya. That is allowed. What's my favorite color, asks Marie. You know, it changes. I think I fall in love with a new color every day, a new shade. There's an infinite amount of them. You can never run out of favorites. I'm enjoying nice yellows lately. Yellows, greens. I like orange as well. Warm nature colors lately. What about you? I see you asked me that as well, dear Innesota. I reflect the question back onto thee. Ben, you like yellow, like the eyes of shadow. Oh, perfect. He does have very feng shui eyes. Innesota, you share. They say our favorite color represents the way we see ourselves. That makes sense. Whatever draws our attention, we become. And we give ourselves to. And thank you, dear Arc-en-Ciel. You love turquoise blue and burgundy lavender. You're bringing out the premium colored names. Nice. Yeah. What is a portal from a crystal, dear Hilaria? Well, if you ever need some blaze rods, some obsidian arranged in a rectangle can lead you to a dimension where you can get some blaze rods, which is particularly important for combining with ender pearls if you want to reach the end. But yes, all colors are beautiful, and they are beautiful because they exist in harmony with the others. You know, think about a world that was only your favorite color. It'd be very nice for the first few days, and then you'd probably go a little crazy. Your favorite color is wonderful because of all the other colors too. You found a flint axe set in your garden this weekend, shares Lieb. Wow, I wonder how old it is. Perhaps maybe Neolithic. Right? There wouldn't be any colors if everything was the same color. Because why would we have a name for that which is everything? We actually do have a name for that. Secret though. You'll find it in a dictionary, but you'll never guess which one it is. Couple. Well said, dear Isabella. And what's my favorite animal, asks Innesota? I like this. We're back in school. Schoolyard questions, my favorite. What's my favorite animal? Well, I'm very drawn to cats, as you know. I wanted to be a cat when I was younger. I thought, man, it'd be so cool to be a cat. Cool cat. You could climb up trees, you could jump really high. You don't have to go into the shower or take a bath, you can just lick yourself. And you're super flexible, you're soft, you get to take a nap at basically anywhere because you're a walking pillow. You can run really fast, hide under things. I do have an affiliation with cats, or an affection, or both. But same thing, all animals exist as a part of this Mother Earth. What about you? Dear Matthew, you tried to fly like Superman because you heard you could do anything through God. I guess you took it too literally. That reminds me of a story. There was once a student who was finally at the level where he was ready to receive the teaching from his guru that everything was God. Many people have heard this word before, G-O-D. They know it has something to do with the source of everything, but very rarely you might reach a certain context in which the realization occurs that God isn't just some being way up there or way back in time. Everything around you is the living expression of God. All the rocks, all the clouds, the waters, the air, the soil, the sun, the moon, all the animals. That student was so in joy of such a wonderful revelation. He ran outside and started naming everything as God. That's God. This is God. You're God. And he saw in the distance some elephants approaching. That too was God. Lo and behold, God in the form of elephants approaching me. But you know what happened? Well, the elephants were not going to stop. They came on, even though they were God. They trampled the poor boy. Thankfully, he was okay. He didn't die. He got pretty bruised though. And this really hurt him. Kind of like your trying to fly like Superman story. And he struggled to comprehend the seemingly paradoxical situation, cognitive dissonance. If everything is God, why was I just hurt by God? So he went back to his teacher and he explained the situation. He said, I'm so happy to know that everything is God until I get hurt. The elephants were God. Why did I get hurt? Are they not God? And the teacher simply said, No. You are right to say that the elephants were God. But you were wrong to forget that the person next to you that was telling you to move out of the damn way was not God also. God is in the elephant running towards you. God is also in the person next to you saying, get out of the damn way. God is that power within you that if you truly had faith, you could fly. But God is also that sensible part in you that says if you don't quite have that faith yet, don't jump off the damn house. Trust in your limits. I always love that story. That's funny, Michael. You used to think the word literature meant literally. Literature, right? But they do have that root. That's funny, dear Isabella. You're welcome to go to different live streams. I'm certainly not going to ask that anyone stay here for the duration of this live stream. You are free to roam. Come back as you please. And thank you, dear Matthew, for the heart me and the rose, and for reminding me of such an inspiring story. Kameshwariyai Namah. You had one of those flying dream shares, Isabella. I love that. Perhaps it means that you are feeling a certain sense of inner freedom. But dreams are so unique to the individual. What do you feel when you fly in your dreams? Is it scary? Like, oh my god, why am I not touching the ground? Or is it a liberating sensation? And yeah, that's a good interpretation, dear Isabella, as well. Or addition. Even that pain that the boy felt after almost being trampled by the elephants is a form of God too. In a lesson. It was fun. You ain't gonna lie. That's good. Sense of play. And thank you, dear Fabio, for the heart me you sent as well. Bhagamalinyai namaha. Thank you, dear Dead Poet Society. I hope the words I say bring more peace to this world. We all have a storehouse of peace within, and we are all blessed with some way of communicating that peace. Might not be through words. For many people it may be. For others it may be through song, art, dance, maybe even just their presence. What's your thing? Where are you able to relay that wealth of peace from within? I like that, Mariori. It appears when you fall in dreams, you're scared of falling. When you are flying, you are doing it the right way. Yeah, don't fall, fly. Leap of faith. Dear Her Royal Highness Zeni, thank you for your 16 roses. Nitya Klinaya Namaha. Delia, you asked, do I have a best friend? That's a good question. What defines a best friend? I would have a hard time using that term for one person and not many people. Honestly, in many ways, I feel like my mom is my best friend. Family in general. My mom, my dad, my sister, Sandy and Shadow, my 2 cats. I've definitely said to Sandy before, you're my best friend. And with my wonderful partner G. She is here too. Somewhere in the house. Or maybe she's on a walk, I don't quite know. I'm grateful to have her here in person today. I was telling her just yesterday that I consider her a best friend as well. But they say friends are made, not found. So, if you make a friend and something best comes out of that, I think you can create that within anyone. You like to express your peace through writing and crochet, shares Hilaria. Those are 2 beautiful ways to express your peace. That's good. Isabella, you ask, what does it mean when you dream about a giant steel train from the 1900s? That's very specific. Well, if you have no association to that in this life, maybe it's coming from a past life. Or maybe it's just a random train of thought. Train of thought? Hey. That was good. You specified giant. That's interesting, though. Trains are often symbols of an unstoppable force and a dedicated direction that force is traveling in. And if it's giant and old from 100 years ago, maybe there is some rekindling within you of some movement that perhaps started to emerge in the 1900s, but maybe died out, never got the success or traction it needed. And perhaps you are adding fuel to that great movement again. Who knows? Dreams are so personal. I'd really like to know how it made you feel. How it made you feel tells more than what it is that gives the feeling. Oh, there's G to infinity. Welcome. You heard your name called out. Digitally or in real life? Where are you? You don't have to tell me. It's somewhere in the house, maybe. Thank you, dear dancing Aurora Borealis, for your pair of club cheers. Beorundaya Nama. Dear Dead Poet Society, you express your peace talking to people in your life when you get that sense of deep belonging. I loved that. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And it can be strangers, right? Are you the type of person to get into deep conversations with strangers? People just randomly come up to you and share their life story. You are in the area. Ooh, how descript. Good enough, dear G. Have I ever played with magic sand as a child? I think I have. Yeah, that cohesive, hydrophobic sand that you can sculpt and make stuff out of. That was pretty cool. Yeah. Now, magic sand is one thing. The question of the day is another. My question of the day today is, in the last 2 weeks, what have you learned about yourself? I am curious. If you are interested in sharing, you are welcome to. If it's personal and private, you can keep it vague or not answer at all. Whatever you are comfortable with. Obviously, no wrong answers, because it's a subjective question, personal to you. You really look forward to this space. Is that what you learned about yourself, dear Emma? Or was that just a well-timed comment? Dear creature of the grove, that you have attachment issues. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's very vulnerable of you. I think we all do, in some way. I mean, who here has a perfectly healthy relationship to being attached and non-attached? Where is Siddhartha Gautama? Where's the Buddha? Maybe him. But even then, if you go by the Mahayana Buddhist tradition, his perfection is one that is always ongoing. Tattwamasi, you share that whatever spirituality you thought you had was all in your mind. That is deeply honest of you. Thank you for sharing that, dear Tattwamasi. You are right. Spirituality is also an expression of the mind, but don't beat yourself up about that as a negative thing, because your mind is a tool, and spirituality is a wonderful way to use the tool of your mind, recognizing that it too is something that is part of the changing forms. Mitya is a very high-level realization, in my humble opinion. They say in the Vedas that you are pricked by the thorn of avidya, and then you need the thorn of vidya to dislodge that first thorn. And when the first thorn is dislodged, you throw away the second. Vidya meaning knowledge, which includes spiritual practice. Thank you, dear Sergio, for the pair of shells that you sent. Vahnivasinyai Nama. Dear Beck, you learned that you're absolutely capable of doing everything you aspire to do. I'm very happy to hear that, Beck. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you, Lexi, for the heart me you sent too. Vajreshwariyai Namaha. Delia, you learned that you need nobody's approval. That's right, it comes from within. Well, thank you for that answer, dear Emma. May there be many things that you look forward to in life. Dear Jackie, you learned that you missed our sanghas and felt kind of lost because you're used to the routine of it in your life. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope to inspire not dependence, but a kind of independence. That from the things that we share here in these live streams, you may carry that wherever you go, regardless of if you watch these live streams or are associated with me in any way, past, present, or future. But I'm grateful that you find a lot of communion here. It's definitely something that I am grateful for too. Thank you, Angel, for your tiny yippee. And Samra, thank you for your hanging lights. Shiva Dutyai Namah. Learning always follows struggle. Very true, dear Rosie. Which means the next time you're struggling, remember, what are you learning? Marcy, you learned that you're quite good at speaking to others, but quite poor in self-communication skills. That is a fascinating observation. Solution? Speak to yourself as an other. Internalize a listener, externalize a speaker. Listen to yourself, speak to yourself, or vice versa. Switch roles like that. Inner voice so quiet you ain't think you had one. Well, that's good. We like a quiet inner voice. You have learned the attachment thing too, dear Hilariah. That is a very human experience. Dead Poet Society, you definitely are one of the people that get into deep conversations with strangers. It's exciting talking to them about deeper topics. Feels kind of surreal. I like that. Yeah, and the anonymity kind of makes it beautiful because we don't have to connect at the level of what's going on in our lives. You know, we can go deeper than what's just on the surface. I like that. You learned that your mind is a tool, shares Isabella. An inner tool. Yeah. Is the self a tool, shares Axon? Now that's a good question. It depends if you mean the lowercase s self or the capital S self. Lowercase s self generally refers to our body and our mind, our sense of self that we experience locally. That's a tool, for sure. But the capital S self, your higher self. That which simply is, without need for identification. That is the source of all tools, the wielder of the tool. Isn't it? I missed you too, dear angel. Dear chillin' with a villain, you asked, did I know that everyone with blue eyes has an ancient ancestor? I think that is true. I think everyone has an ancient ancestor. Because if you follow your family tree, it doesn't just stop at some point. You know? And we all share a common ancestor, equally ancient. Not only people with blue eyes have an ancient ancestor, but people with brown eyes as well. People with green eyes. People with eyes. People have ancient ancestors. But maybe one that I'm very connected with, perhaps. You learn that you are resilient, dear Anne. I am happy to hear that. That's a good thing to learn. Good learning. Me and Nanda, you've noticed that you are the one who gives you freedom. What a fantastic thing to notice. You are the one who gives you freedom. Kite or Kitte, you've learned that as you get older, your career is less important than the people you surround yourself with. I like that. Yeah. And that's why one of the most important things to ask when you're going into a job interview is, what will my coworkers be like? Will I get along with them? Rebecca, you found out precognition is the word to describe why you see things the way you do. And what a beautiful word that is, precognition. Yes. All sorts of patterns in life. If you can pay attention to them, you will be able to watch this present moment unfold in advance. Thank you, Jaya, for your shell. Jaya Premananda. Do I like kefir? Kefir? Well, given that I'm not sure how to pronounce that, I don't think I'm sure what that is. Do tell me, dear Delia, what is kefir? Kefir? K-E-F-I-R. Isabella, you learned this is a complex question of which you have no answer. That's a good answer. Hello, dear Mark. Dansuela, you learned that it's imperative to rest. I think this is a lesson you keep learning, isn't it, Dansuela? But I'm happy that you've deepened your understanding of this. That's good. Crystal, you learned that you are heading in a path that you feel is better than you thought. I'm so happy to hear that for you. That's a great feeling to have. Hilaraya, you've been learning about your neurodivergence and how to unmask years of masking it. That's beautiful. Yes. Be yourself. And it's like you share, there are many things you learn, and then you feel is better day by day, and many things about your health being better. That's a wonderful thing to learn, connect with. What a blessing it is to become more knowledgeable about health, especially your own bodies. Dear Exxon, you ask, if the world is mithya and Brahman is changeless, what is the precise status of observation? You are observing the world. from the changeless point. Brahman is the observer. The world, that which is mithya, is what you are observing. We have to remember, in case we dip into Neo-Advaita. Oh, I see you had more comments. Let me read your other comments before I answer. What is the status of observation within that structure? Can observation ever truly belong to the world? You can have no observation without, of course, Brahman, the changeless. The observer is the changeless, and that has to be the case because that which is changing cannot be a subject to change relative to it. You need some changeless reference points, like zero, zero on the number line. The very fact that it has no value is what allows other value to exist relative to it. You need something to observe also. We may like to say that Brahman is Satya, real, and this world is asatya, unreal. But that doesn't mean that Brahman can exist without Maya. In some sense, Brahman needs Maya, this material existence, in order to validate its existence. This world being mithya, it has a bad rep. It comes with the sense that it's something to realize that it's not true, and therefore one day it'll vanish. It will never vanish. What's mithya is not the whole of Maya. Maya is just as eternal. Nitya. What is mithya is nitya. Nitya is the word for eternal. Mithya is temporary. This universe will go on forever, but it will undergo change, and any particular thing within that universe or cycle of universes will change. So the observer is the Brahman, the very background, behind these eyes, or within, behind everything you see. But you would not have anything to see if there wasn't this material existence either. They are inseparable. It's the Shiva and Shakti, Purusha and Prakriti. Thank you, dear Tom R., for the heart me and septet of roses that you sent. Dvaritaya Namah. Thank you, dear Tom R., for your subscription to Nityaya Namah. The Matrix I Am, thank you for your shell. Nilapatakinyaya Namah. And thank you, Jen Garden, for your rose. Vijaya Namah. Thank you, the Matrix I Am, for your finger heart in addition. Exxon, you think maybe mithya can be appreciated as a pattern integrity, not to be mistaken for the substrate. Well said. I love that. I see the truth in that. Your questions came from a computer science challenges. How fascinating. I would like to maybe add the analogy that on a computer system, a personal computer system, that the observer is the user that exists outside of the computer system. But on the computer system, they may have an account. They have a username and a password, and they log in. And that's mithya. You wouldn't say that the observer is the username and password and all their files that come and go. But it's the transcendental user that can walk away from the computer. But the point of a computer is to be used. That is for sure. The point of this universe is certainly to be observed. Thank you, dear Savlin, for your rose. Sarvamangalaya Namaha. Some other answers to our question of the day. We had a little detour. Yeah. But you actually rested for reals this time, shares Donsuela. I'm happy to hear that. Yes. How did you rest? What's the secret to resting for real this time? Dear Arkemos, you learned you have a huge problem with gambling addiction. It's ruining all aspects of your life. Please help. There are professionals that can help you with that. I, by no means, am a professional support person for someone with a gambling addiction. So I can at least make you aware that there are such professionals. And in general, you are welcome to visit the space. I'm happy to explore the nature of gambling with you. We can inquire into it together, why we pursue such things sometimes, how we can substitute that with other things that also give you that sense of high risk and high reward, but at least don't risk your sense of happiness and belonging with your family. All of life is a gamble if you really think about it. I mean, you already won the lottery when it comes to being born. Being born at all is a lottery. You know how many spermata you had to outswim in order to get into the ovum? Actually, that's only partly accurate as an analogy. Modern science shows that it's not a race. It's not a competition to the ovum, but it's actually a collaborative effort. They help each other get along, which I think feels much more right. You know, I don't remember racing to get there. If anything, I remember just some sense of, I'm so blessed and grateful to be alive. Thank you, dear Calypso, for your heart meme. And tiny, yahoo! That makes sense, dear Kaido. You learned when COVID happened, it was like a reset, and you're getting back to you now, how it should be. I'm happy to hear that. Exxon, you've been healing your microbiome and meditating for only a few years, and happiness is your essence now. You are living proof that even a little bit of effort goes a long way. Thank you for that. I'm reading your messages out of order, but you added, Vedanta then offers a means for removing ignorance about the self rather than acquiring new knowledge. Indeed. Do I have any book recommendations? Asked Dead Poet Society. Whatever one you write, I recommend. Namaste, dear Frater. Could I clarify the difference between Shiva, everything, and Shiva, destroyer? Yes, and allow me to clarify the difference by clarifying the unity. First thing to understand is that destroyer is not a great translation of that role. As the third in the trinity of creation, preservation, and the undoing of creation, we might think that destruction is a great label for that role. Why should the divine be seen as a destroyer? What is a more accurate label for the undoing part of creation? Maybe that's a question we can explore together. Instead of a destroyer, instead of the divine, rampaging, going like, breaking everything down in some maniacal way, decay, entropy, those are very, very impersonal. Yes, Ben. Yeah, but more accurate. You're writing a book right now? Perfect, dear Dead Poet Society. The scholars tend to use the term dissolver. When you read a scholarly piece about the Trimurti, the triple form of the divine, it's creator, preserver or sustainer, and dissolver. But still, the question remains, why should undoing creation be considered divine? And how does that connect to Shiva as everything? I mean, it's one thing for this word to refer to everything, and another for this word to refer to specifically everything becoming undone. Well said, dear Tattvamasi. Unless we don't emphasize creation, it has to be called destruction, right? Well said. That is the intuitive conclusion, I think, as English speakers. Yeah. Dissipator, that is a great one, Ben. In fact, I like that even more than dissolver. The dissipator. Yeah. Before we get to the unity between these two terms, let me tell you first why there is a difference. It comes from the difference between the cultures of North and South India. North India is heavily influenced by the Indo-European, specifically the Indo-Aryans, the Vedic heritage. And in the Vedas, Shiva is an epithet for the destroyer or the dissipator. I like that. Rudra is the Vedic name. There's the Vedic names are Prajapati, which is the creator. Vishnu is still the Vedic name for the sustainer, and then Rudra for the dissolver. And then in modern times, it's Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, or Mahesha, or Maheshwara. So in the Vedic tradition, Shiva is seen as 1/3. But that's only 1/2 of the cultural fusion of Hinduism. The other half is from the Dravidian society in the south. And the proto-Shiva, although Shiva wasn't called Shiva in the Dravidian culture, was seen as everything. Shiva is the form of the divine that is everything in the Dravidian culture. And something very interesting happened when these cultures fused into this gradient across India. That instead of there being a fight between the Vedic and the Agamic spiritual traditions, they blended into one. And they started picking out different forms of the divine in each culture and saying, hey, my form of Rudra is a lot like your Shiva. Why don't we worship them as one? Can we realize them as the same? So that's how that god that became known as Shiva got the name Shiva and was equated with Rudra, and how in the north Rudra was seen as the dissolver, but in the south Rudra or Shiva is seen as everything. And to make the distinction in Sanskrit, it's Shiva versus Sada Shiva. Sada, Sada Shiva. Or you could hear the term Para Shiva, Para Shiva, Para Shiva. You can take any particular form of the divine and then inflate it to everything. In the case of Shiva, you can sense his dissolution or dissipation in that which everything returns to. I heard it said, he is the lap of oblivion in which creation rests. And I think that is the way of unifying these two different senses. Same to you, dear freighter. Om Namah Shivaya. Seeing Shiva as everything is Shaivism, but you can also do the same for Vishnu. It's known as Vaishnavism, or Shakti, known as Shaktism. And long ago, you could even do the same for Brahma, the creator. It was called Brahmism or Brahmanism. But there's a funny story about Brahma kind of falling out from the three. Maybe we can tell that at another time. Thank you, dear Tan Hao Yu, for the heart me that you shared. Jwala Malinyaya Namaha. Maria, thank you for the heart me you shared. Chandraya Namaha. Don Suela, you got deep rest by doing art, cuddling your dog, and I have to scroll up to read the rest of that, eating your favorite foods. You did this for a whole week and it was great. Oh, you really did. I'm happy to hear that. I like Exxon, you shared that luck is likely a function of reality, an attribute of Ishvara. I've never heard it described like that. That's very beautiful. Arkemos, you self-reflect that addiction is probably a way to escape reality, to ignore traumas you don't know, but I am right. I'm amazed that you came to that reflection so quickly. I think you've already got enough to think about just there. We can go deeper if you want, but yeah, so many people have an addiction to something, including gambling, and not many people are at that point where you can recognize that it's a means of escape of something, particularly perhaps trauma. So, you're already ahead of the curve in that sense. I think we've transitioned away from the question of the day. I am sorry if I wasn't able to read your comment. There were some wonderful questions being asked in tandem. I'm so happy that we got such wonderful answers, and so many people learned so much about themselves in the last 2 weeks, it seems. Thank you for sharing that. I love, Freighter, you added that Paramahansa Yogananda Ji referred to Shiva as the destroyer or restorer. I like that, restorer. And Paramahans Swami Maheshwarananda in this book, I remember, I think he defines Shiva as, I just had the word it's on the tip of my tongue now. It wasn't, yeah, it was something along the lines of a restorer. So, a restorer, someone who brings into finality the sense of a completer. And it's absolutely that sense that unifies. Hello dear Orales Verden. Welcome. Thank you, Jaya, for your tiny. Yippee. Ah, yes. The night compels you to undo your presence here. Dreams wait to be created within your sleep. Carry on, dear Ben. May you dream resplendently. Oh, I love that mantra, Usha. Or it might even be a Mahavakya, a great saying. Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. Straight to the point. Universal consciousness. Real. This whole universe. Transient. Transformer. That is exactly the word I was thinking, dear Emma. Shiva as the transformer. You read my mind. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. This has been a wonderful Sangha. Good. And we haven't had a crash or any delay. Oh, I'm so grateful our new computer, Agubara, is working well. Or the transmuter. That's another great one. The three great epithets of Shiva you've all coined or shared in this live stream. Dissipator, transformer, transmuter. Of course, dear Archeemos. I'm here for you. This community is here for you. Well, I hope. I mean, I can't speak for anyone else, but I have trust that the amount of love I've seen and felt from the people here is not exclusive to you. Hilaria, you ask, why does there have to be a label for any of this? Great question. Yeah. There doesn't. No. But when we forget that which is beyond all labels, we use labels to transcend labels. Like how the mind is said to be the source of all problems, but it's also the source of all solutions to our problems. You can transform your mind from being your own worst nightmare to a dream come true. And that's the beauty of language, is that no word can ever put into truth the highest reality. But they can point the way there, which is almost miraculous. It is miraculous, actually. That something finite could somehow bring us into a greater appreciation of the infinite. That takes something transcendental going on. That's very humbling, dear Archeemos. I think we all have the ability to do quote-unquote God's work just by honestly holding space for a friend, walking a dog, taking care of your body. Some people are truly destined to be the face of great change. But everyone plays their small role. I think about all the people that changed the world and all of the unnamed people that helped them, like the mothers, the fathers, grandparents, you know, the pets that they got to see when they got home and help them recharge. So many people go into great change, even if it seems like a single person is the name face of a movement or something, which means that any one of us could be responsible for helping great change come into existence. And we might not even know that a person that we pour coffee to every Thursday, or our own son, or someone you pass by on the street that you smiled to, maybe they are going to change the world in some great way. And just offering that love in that moment was part of one of the many things that need to be in order for the right chain of events to make a difference in this world in a big way. So I wouldn't underestimate your ability to do God's work, no matter who you are. Thank you for being part of this space. So I'd like to transition now to the final part of our live stream, which kind of seals the deal, like Shiva. We're going to do a meditation mantra. We're going to chant in order to get to a very calm sense of being in this moment. We'll do, here, let me just set it up for you. I'll tell you what it is right now. We've been going through an ancient Dravidian scripture from the Kamika Agama, it's called. In the second chapter, there's a list of all the sounds in Sanskrit and their spiritual associations. We've made our way to the retroflexplosives today. We chant the sound da. I'll tell you precisely how to pronounce this sound and how it comes to form this whole mantra you see here. It looks like that in Devanagari, da, and it has a little dot on top of it, a bindu. This is called an anuswara, an inner sound, and it nasalizes it. You'll see it here in the International Alphabet of Sanskrit Transliteration, da, and with the M with a dot under it, it becomes down. How do you pronounce this? Well, you curl your tongue back. That little dot underneath tells you that it's not quite a D. There's something else going on. What you do is you touch the bottom of your tongue, the bottom of the tip of your tongue to the hard palate. Can you curl your tongue back and make a D kind of sound? Da, da, da. And then the H tells us that we aspirated. Da, da, da. We add breath, da. The whole mantra is Aum Dang Yamaya Nama. It means salutations to Yama. And it's a coincidence or a synchronicity that my name happens to be similar. This is not my name, but the name of the god of death in Sanskrit, which is not a negative thing. Yama is not evil. He's a god, not a demon. Kind of like how the Grim Reaper gets a bad rep, but he is a transporter of people into the hereafter. Yama is said to also possess the knowledge of Vedanta, said to have given initiation to Nachiketa, after which an initiation ceremony is named. Yama literally means that which restricts or restrains, coming from the root im, meaning to restrict. Yama is the restrictor, if we were to literally translate it. The purpose of this mantra is to defeat death, our own sense of ending, that we have no beginning, we have no end. We are eternal consciousness, not this body which sleeps, decays, and dies, but the Lord of the earth and skies. Defeat death in that way. So, I've added some more pronunciation pointers for this whole mantra, since one of the best parts of using a mantra to meditate is the precise Sanskrit phonology. Its precision is not to gatekeep the meaning or its power, but actually to invite a sense of focus on each precise sound. The O and the A with the bar over it, these are long vowels, literally in terms of duration. Om, Aya. As I said, the M with the dot under is a nasalization. You bring the resonance into your nasal cavity. The D with a dot under an H. You curl your tongue back and you add breath. Da. And finally, at the end of Nama, there's an H with a dot under. This is like a mini exhale. It's called a Visarga, which means expulsion. One more time. Aum Dang Yamaya Namah. Feel free to chant with me to practice your Sanskrit, or just listen. We'll keep count on this Rudraksha Mala. Aum Dham Yamaya Namah. 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 Aum Dhang 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 Yamaya Namah. Last one. Salutations to Yama. Death. But not the scary kind. The restrainer. May we meditate on you for a few moments in silence and feel ourselves liberated from the fear of losing our identification. Thank you for chanting or meditating with us. That concludes our meditation, and with that, our live stream. I welcome everyone that joined while we were chanting or meditating. Thank you, dear Emma, for the flower you sent at the beginning of that, the dancing flower. It's very cute. Sadyojatam prapadyami sadyojataya vai namo namah bhave bhave nati bhave bhavaswamam bhavodbhavaya namah. Hello, wow. Thank you, dear medic man, for your shell, for your heart, and for your rose. May we all break out of our shells, open our heart, and become like a rose, a flower to this world. Vamadevaya namo jeshtaya namo shoreshtaya namo rudraya namah kalaya namah kalavikarnaya namo balaya namo balavikarnaya namo balapramathanaya namah sarva bhuta damanaya namo manonmanaya namaha. Thank you, dear Isabella, for your trio of roses. Agorebhyota gorebhyo agora gore tarebhya sarvata sarva sarvebhyo namaste rudra rupebhya. I'm grateful to have been able to be live today. If there's any way in which I can improve this space, make it more inclusive, hold me accountable, I hope to be a more humble host next time. May this live stream be an offering to the divinity within you. Masato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityor ma mritangamaya. Shanti shanti shanti. Lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to the light, from death to deathlessness. May there be peace in us, may there be peace in our environment, and may there be peace in the forces that act on us. Well, for someone who's not joking, it's a funny question. Dear Was. You are the manager of the most powerful drug factory on the planet, called the human body. You simply take care of this system. Get its assembly machines in order. And it will produce for you the most incredible molecular experiences that the whole of life can offer. So I don't recommend any substance other than the substances your body is capable of producing. It is truly possible to be high off life. And you can do that by living life to the fullest. Thank you, dear Hilaraya. Hello, JR. Thank you to my lovely moderators for helping keep the peace. I think the internet was fine today. I didn't see any moderation other than some pinned comments. Thank you for the pinned comments. That's a lovely thing. I like when people of authority to set boundaries also have the ability to showcase something exemplary. It's a wonderful way to balance a role. So you're not always looking for the negative. You can also look for the positive. So thank you for pinning the nice comments, dear moderators. We've come to the end of the Sangha now. I will upload this live stream to my YouTube channel. I've never actually run my program that chapters the description and comes up with a unique thumbnail and title on this computer yet, so I don't actually know if this program will run. It might take a while for me to upload, but I always do onto my YouTube channel the Yamsox lives, and there's playlists for the meditations and the readings, because you never are expected to show up. Even though you really enjoy what we're reading, for example, I record that for you. And I don't enable any ads on my videos, just to make it completely seamless for you. May you have a wonderful rest of your night, your evening, your afternoon, your morning, whatever time it is for you. May you all have a wonderful rest of your present moment. Namaste.